Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the meeting this evening. My name is Moji Alimi, and I'm here with my team to present our business case, the solution to the pain points we identified with our credit and loan application process at Coffee Bean Credit and Loan Incorporated. So last week was the meeting we had where we discussed that. And for the sake of those who are not here, I will go over the pain point as well as the opportunity that our solution presents. Okay, so the current credit and loan application process is completely manual. The process taking up to 14 days from the application process to disbursement of the loan. The opportunity that our solution presents is automation and a reduction of the process to 3 days. Our market share is currently at 8.9%, which is very low compared to our competitors. With this solution, we project that would increase by 11%. Our annual revenue is currently at $5 million, and the number of loan applications that we process annually is 5,000 per year. With our solution, we project to do times 5 of that, 5 times that, bringing our annual revenue to $25 million, and our total number of applications that we can process to 25,000. The system we have currently has allowed our customer satisfaction index to decline. With this new solution, we anticipate and we expect that our customer satisfaction index would greatly improve. Now, what is this solution, you may ask? Our solution is the Salesforce application. Why Salesforce? First, Salesforce is the number one CRM in the world today. It is cloud-based. With it being cloud-based, you expect real-time solution to our processes. Salesforce is also able to integrate with other systems. Salesforce is a single source of truth, and what that means is not only one department would be using Salesforce, multiple departments would be using it and will be able to retire some of our legacy systems. And when it comes to Salesforce, security is one thing that Salesforce does not joke about. With Salesforce, with the security features that they've put in place, such as user access, restricting access to only what is required, multi-factor authentication is also one, just to mention a few. Now, what are the resources that we require for Salesforce? In discussing the resources, we considered 3 different categories. We considered people, we considered budget, as well as the timeline. For people, we would need a project owner, and that's what my team would be in charge of the implementation stages, ensuring that it's successful. Would require the service of a project manager. The project manager would oversee the project from inception to completion. We would also need to bring on board a Salesforce consultant. Now, we currently do not have the skill set internally, so we need to bring someone on board. The consultant would help us, first of all, with discovery. Where are we in the organization? What features do we need? And the consultant would be able to advise on the Salesforce edition that we need. The Salesforce consultant would also help with migration of our data, ensuring that the data that is transferred is cleansed, the mapping is done well, such that the data that is mapped from our current system into Salesforce, we ensure that it's the right data that is going in there, and also would ensure the Salesforce consultant would ensure that all of the data, for the data, there will be no duplication, and then the data would be unique. Now, we may or may not need the service of a Salesforce developer. That's why I have asterisks there. The only time we will need a Salesforce developer is if there's a feature that we need as an organization that is not in the edition that the consultant recommends. In terms of the budget, there are different things to consider on that. Salesforce is a software as a service, so we'll be paying for the licensing fee. Consulting as well. So the Salesforce consultant would be a contractor that would have to pay for the service. Data migration costs is also involved. Integration costs, if we have to integrate other applications into Salesforce. There will be cost attributed to after-launch support as well as training. In terms of the timeline, there are three things to consider: pre-implementation activities, where we would have the discovery, the implementation itself, as well as the training. Right now, I'll pass this on to my colleague Hans, who will talk about the project stakeholders and the power and interest grid. Thank you.
Thank you, Moji. So in assessing the issue at hand, we gathered the initial requirements, which allowed us to set up the very first set of key stakeholders who will be affected by the project. Now, these were subdivided into two groups, that's internal stakeholders and then external ones. Internal being the end users and then the project sponsor, as well as the management, and then external being the customers and then the regulators. Next slide, please. Now, with that in mind, we set up the power interest grid, which further categorized our stakeholders, and then it also put them in various slots where we are able to actually predict potentially how their influence would affect the outcome of the final project. Now, if you watch the screen here, we have the power interest grid here. Now, on the top left cube has the project sponsor and then the shareholders. Now, these are people who have high power and they have the cash, the financial lifeline of the project. But then also they might actually have very low interest in the project in that their goal is to finance the project. But in the process in which we take to achieve that might or might not really be much of a concern, since they have other people who would be working on those aspects. And again, they will be kept in the loop so they will know what's happening at any given time. To the right of those groups are the managers and then the end users. Now, these are people who have high interest in the project and they also have high power. Now, high interest and high power because the final solution is going towards them as the main beneficiaries. And then also their feedback to the project sponsor can make or unmake the final solution we prefer. So we want to rather keep them always happy, make sure they're always in the loop, make sure we take their issues at hand, and then make sure their considerations are always brought to bear. Although we should also put boundaries in that their continuous input shouldn't affect the timelines of the project. But then we should also keep in mind that they are the main people, they're the main power group who needs to be kept happy at all times. And then we have the regulators who are in the low power, low interest group. And the regulators in this case, although they don't really push much in the project, realize that anything we do financial as an institution needs to be regulated. Now, are our projects going to guarantee the safety of the data we collect, the financial data we collect of customers? Secondly, are we meeting the anti-money laundering rules set up by government? And then also, how is cybersecurity features for the solution we are preferring? Now, these are things that the regulators will always want to check and of which you should make provision for and then keep them also in the loop. They might not need regular updates, but then also they might need some minimal updates as to what we are doing, because eventually they might need to come in to license the projects. And then we have the last group who are the customers. But the customers have low power, but they have high interest. Now, high interest because eventually they would also benefit from the project with the freedom of having their loans guaranteed within a short period without them having to go through all the bottlenecks that currently exist in the project. These people would keep them activated, would keep them interested in the project through constant updates by way of snippets and marketing to get them always involved and get them following the story of the company. At this point, I would hand over to Ayokunle to carry on with the RACI chart and then the other components. Thank you.
Thank you, Jens. We will be using the RACI chart, to lay out roles and responsibilities on our project. The RACI chart allows us to discuss, communicate, and agree upon rules for our project. RACI is an abbreviation for responsible person, accountable person, the consulted person, and the informed person. For the responsible person, we have the project manager and also the end users, who will provide us day-to-day management and leadership of this project. And for the accountable person, we have the management, which, they will be providing us funds for these projects, and they will also be signing off on the work and judging its completion, and be able to, to be sure that we all meet all the quality standard that we must have set in place, and what Salesforce plans to achieve. For the consulted people, we have the project sponsor, who they will be working closely with the project manager to, to define the critical success factor and also the metrics for measuring the success of the project. And for the informed people, we have the government and also the government regulators and also the customers. The customers needs to be informed and be ready to welcome, and we will also be ready to welcome any feedback that they might give to us. And for the government, we need to assure them that we are actually meeting and making sure that our customers' data are secured. And next slide, please. We will be using the agile methodology to implement our proposed solution. We'll be using the agile methodology in deploying our proposed application, which is Salesforce. As we know, agile support rapid deployment of software without having to, wait or stop our current application. We don't want to stop giving out loans to our customer because we are trying to implement a new software. And for the agile implementation process, we have the requirement stage where we, compare the new application, which is Salesforce, and with the present one that we are currently using. And we need to also, prioritize the new features to be so sure that we are making, having the maximum advantage. And for the planning and design stage, we are buying the Salesforce off the shelf, and we customize it to also fit our needs. We also ensure that we test the Salesforce application to be sure that it meets all our needs, both the end users and also the customers. And we will receive feedback too. And with this feedback, we will be able to make our review before we eventually make implementation and as well do the deployment of these Salesforce. My colleague Onye will be taking us through the implementation stage.
Thank you so much, Kunle. So I'll be talking about the implementation plan, right? And then we want to start by defining the goals and objectives of the implementation plan. We want to know exactly how we want to accomplish this project, right? And of course, we'll move over to the success criteria. This describes the need to reach an agreement with stakeholders to define the project success and, success criteria. And how do we define, the project success? What does done mean to them, right? And also want to review the scope statement. And here's where the development team will document all the work needed to develop the app. That's the work is broken down into tasks such as user stories and the product and software development. Of course, we want to also, review the resource plan. And there's a need to outline all the resources required for this project. And these include, human resources, equipment and materials needed for the project. And of course, very importantly, risk analysis. This includes anything that might affect the execution of the implementation plan, such as budget constraints, losing personnel, or market instability. And of course, implementation time, schedules will help us keep track and communicate and keep an eye on the progress of the projects, keeping all stakeholders in the loop of what is going on. And we're looking at a time frame of 6 months to complete this project. And of course, the milestones, we need to identify the key milestones of this implementation plan so that we can easily keep track of its progress as well. And of course, we want to also identify roles and responsibilities. Assigning roles and responsibilities will help provide a clear picture of what needs to be done and by whom. The clearer we define these responsibilities, the easier it will be to keep them and people accountable. And Lastly, the contingency plan. Of course, planning for challenges is as important as planning for success. We need to plan for how the team will navigate through, difficult waters or rough waters in case we, go over budget, don't have enough resources, or approaching deadline, whatever it is. This way we won't get off track when challenges arise, and we're able to stay clear of them easily. Next slide, please. We also want to take a look at the change, and we also want to review the change and training management. It's important to have a structured change management process in place, and this is so that teams can understand how to respond to change and stay on track to meet project objectives. A good change management structure can help employees embrace new technology and directions, which we can actually accomplish through trainings. Change is hard because people overestimate the value of what they have, and then they underestimate the value of what they can gain by giving that up. So we'll try as much as possible to encourage buy-in of the team, adoption on all levels, and increase employee engagement and morale. I'd like to pass it on to Moyo. Moyo, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Nye. I'm going to analyze on the cost benefits here. And as you can see from the right-hand side is the costs. First and foremost, the Salesforce license costs $100,000 for the year, while our new hires, which we're going to be recruiting, will cost about $400,000. Our hardware and software will cost us $7,500, while our marketing team and the marketing expenses will get about $3,000 per quarter. And for the year, it's going to round up to $12,000. For our training costs, will cost about $1,000 per day. And for the 5 days which they're going to be in training, will cost us $5,000. Our revenue on the left-hand side, we expect to get a increase in the 20% growth, which is going to amount $1 million. For our work plan and workflow efficiencies, we expect to reduce the burden on the staff. So we are hoping to save $5,000 per loan officer. For the conversion rates, we expect an increase to $500,000. That is the lead which is going to be converted into accounts. For the campaign benefits, the marketing and promotion will amount to $215,000, which will knock off the marketing costs at the right-hand side. For approval rates, we expect an increase of 15%, which will amount to $480,000. The total benefits will amount to $1,768,000, while the total cost will amount to $512,000. Next slide. Our expected return on investment, we have 5 points here. The first is the revenue. We expect to generate a total of $25 million in 2025 at the end of this project. Also, during the sales, we expect our loan to increase to $25,000 yearly. And also the third is the capital. And here we expect that we hope to get a $1 million capital investment on this project, which is spanned over 2 years. For our return, we hope to get a real-time solution from Salesforce and also a cloud and secure database which we can store all our data. And we also hope to get a unified experience where all our services will be included in one single experience for all to use. For our success rates, as I said before, our unified experience is going to. Our unified experience will bring about success and at the end increase the market share of our great company. Next slide. Lastly, on the time frame to recover from our ROI, as you can see, our initial investment, which is $1 million, will happen in year 2023, and followed by the revenue. Our revenue in the current year is $5,000 and $5 million, sorry. And as you know, that is low for now. So we expect in the year 2023 and 2024 to rise to a total of $25 million. Our projected start date, we hope to start this project on the 1st of June next year, and we hope to do so by God's grace. Our gross income, which is a summary of our expected costs minus the benefit, as seen in the former slides. Throughout the 3 years from now, we hope to spend a total of $1,255,000. Our ROI for 2020 and 2024 will round up to 26.2%. Also, we expect to arrive at a total of 25 million in the first year, which is in 2024. And we chose that period because we want to use 2023 to get our strategy right and make sure that we hit this total amounts. And as you can see in the first quarter, we hope to reinvest $3 million back to the operations, and also in the second year take it a notch higher for $6,250,000. While in the third year we would be reinvesting back $7.5 million. Lastly, for the fourth quarter, we're spending $8,250,000, and we hope to get the sum of this in 2024. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So I'm going to actually throw it open to the class to give you feedback. Of course, I think you did excellently well. I have a few comments to add. But first, can you check? I sent you a message, please. I need you to take a look at it. Yeah. Bumi, you're the first to send a message, so would you mind speaking? They would like to hear from you.
I'm not in where I am is kind of, I'm not in a conducive environment to talk, but it's an excellent presentation. I didn't expect less from them, considering their first presentation the other time. This was very good, from the progression from the beginning to the end, and the way they were passing on from one another was really excellent. It's a very wonderful presentation.
Great, thank you, Bumi. Does anybody else have anything to say about their presentation? Okay. Well, I'll share my comments, right? I echo what Bumi said. I thought that was a well put together presentation. A lot of the feedback, your first presentation was excellent as well. And then a lot of the feedback that was shared, I feel like you've actually taken it in, you've factored it into this presentation. The only comment I have is if you go back to your ROI slide for a second, please.
This one?
This one, yeah. I think it was Moyo who was presenting this slide. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, yeah, Moyo, just a few comments for you. You were flipping in between quarter and yearly when you talked about your reinvestment. Oh. So you'd say first quarter, and then for the second one, you'd be second year. Moji, why are you laughing?
I didn't notice that.
You were flipping, which, yeah, it is what it is, right? Everybody probably does it. The other thing I wanted to call out is that you made mention of God. In and of itself, there is nothing wrong with it. But if the person approving this does not believe in God, what do you think your chances are of getting the money? There are people who genuinely do not like God. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so just always have that at the back of your mind when you're doing a presentation. There are certain words you want to move away from, especially words that relate to people's faith, religion, marital status, financial status, things like that that are hot topics. You just want to stay away from them, because the person who's making the decision may, just like the example I just gave, they don't believe in God and you mentioned God, that alone, they're not even thinking about how fantastic the application is. They're just like, okay, I don't like what I just heard. And they make things difficult from there. Do you understand what I mean, Moyo?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. But overall, fantastic. Good job. Okay. Thank you. So we're just going to take a quick 2-minute break to get our Jira facilitator to come on. So if you need to stretch your legs or you need to grab a cup of water, please go for it. Okay, so while we're waiting for the facilitator, I'm going to throw it open to everyone here. How are we feeling generally about presenting now that we've done 2? I feel like almost everybody has presented. So basically people talking. There's still a few people who haven't spoken. I'm hoping for the last presentation, which is next week, that they will be talking. But how are we feeling generally about it?
Okay, sorry. Hello, Abiola. Just want to I just want to give your opinion concerning what we've presented so far, and based on the assignment that you actually gave to us. Did we actually hit the point based on the assignment you gave to us?
So, do you mean generally, or you mean for your group?
Generally.
To be honest, and this is not a feel-good speech from me, you did well. The second presentation is a whole lot, I think, it was an improvement on the first one. And the second presentation, you had more points to cover in a short period of time. So there were a few factors I was looking at. It wasn't just the typo or the grammatical error. It was, okay, how well are you doing with your presentation, given that your job might require you doing that frequently, right? So basically your communication verbally and in writing, how well you're able to work in a team. I know I probably haven't heard most of the stories that happened with this teamwork, but teamwork isn't always seamless, right? But at the end of the day, everybody still delivered. In terms of actually responding to the question and not going off track, it was excellent, in my opinion. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. With me, with my boss, there's probably always room for improvement, if you know what I mean. So it's a journey. It's not a destination. And you've definitely moved forward on that journey. You've progressed, basically. You understand the concept of what you're being asked, right? And you've taken it away. You've expanded on it, and you've done an actual presentation on it. I doubt there will be anybody in this class right now who doesn't understand the concept of writing a business case. I completely doubt it. And if there's anybody like that, feel free to reach out to me. Say it in class, right? If we need to do a bit more work on it, we will. But generally, for the most part, based on everybody that I've listened to, you get it. And you're communicating it well. Now, when you get on an actual project environment, you may need to work on a bigger document. But I think that once the foundation is strong, once you get how you're supposed to think about this information and how you're supposed to present it, once you get that, it doesn't matter if the next slide you're doing is going to be double this in scope or triple. It doesn't matter, because you understand the foundation. Basically, you get the concept of it. You get the concept of return on investment. You get the concept of trying to convince management to approve the funds so you can implement the project. You get why we're even doing a business case, right? Because, sometimes people wonder, well, they hired me already. They must have known they wanted to do the project. Why are we working on a business case? If they didn't know for sure that they wanted to do it and they hadn't approved the money, why did they hire me? And the answer to that is that each company is at a different stage in that decision-making process, right? They know they need a change. They do not necessarily know that Salesforce is the right answer for them, right? And so there may be a need to do a business case for that application. They know that they need a change. They just don't know that the change that your project team will propose is the one that they want. And so because you have the backing of the project sponsor who's pushing this, right? Every time you're doing a business case, there's a sponsor who's talking to management, whispering into their ears that they need the money, right? But management isn't just going to approve it because the sponsor is whispering in their ear. So the project sponsor will get a project team together and say, give me a solid business case that once it's presented, they're just going to write that check. So again, I think that most people, if not everybody on this call, get the concept of what we're talking about here. You understand your role as a BA. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you land on that job, you would have to prepare all of this by yourself. Yes, a lot of it may fall to you to prepare, but you have your project manager to work with. You have other project stakeholders to work with. All of this information, you're not expected to just know it magically. It's in talking to people and finding out, this process that you do today, what does it cost you? Okay, if we implemented a solution that could enable you work differently, how much would you save? And in talking to all of those people, you begin to get all of the information, then you put it together and it makes sense, right? And so again, that's why I'm having you present. I could have just taught you and said, okay, all the best, right? But I needed to hear it from you. One, to be able to evaluate your communication skill. Two, to be able to evaluate whether you even understand the topics being discussed, right? And so it's a combination of many things. So anyway, without saying much more than I've said already, I think that you all are doing excellently well. Keep at it. When you get on the job, that environment is going to be unique, right? The project they're trying to do may be completely different from what we're doing. Just remember everything you've learned here. If you understand that way of thinking, it doesn't matter what you're presented with. You will know how to go about sourcing the information, documenting the information, and communicating the information. So well done, everybody. Ayokunle, did I answer your question?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yashim, do we have you on the call?
Yes, I'm right here.
Awesome. I'm glad you could join us.
Yeah, finally.
Welcome. Yeah. So I'll pass it over to you now. Class, I already mentioned to you today, our focus is going to be Jira. Some of you have been slightly exposed to it. A lot of people, I think, have downloaded it, but Yashim is just going to break it down. Basically, Yashim works with Jira day in, day out. Yashim is a Scrum Master, but I'll pass it on to you, Yashim. Tell us a bit about yourself and then, take the floor, do your thing.
Okay. I see it's a no camera meeting. I just turned my camera for a minute, so you put a face to the voice. So I'm Yashim. Let me turn it off now. At least you've seen my face. Okay. So my name is...
Sorry, yeah. I'm sorry to cut you short. Feel free to leave your camera on if you want to. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll just turn it on, do the introduction, and then when I share my screen, I'll probably turn it off, right? Yeah. So hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Yashim. Okay. Thank you, Abiola, for welcoming me. I am a Scrum Master, but before I became a Scrum Master, I started as a BA. So most of you are getting trained to become BAs. So I was at this point, at some point in my life, I started as a BA. I did different roles: principal application analyst, functional analyst, and then I transitioned into the Scrum Master role. Collectively, in tech, I have been in tech for around 10 years, in tech and around tech. So a total of 10 years. So I have worked extensively with Jira. I've also worked with Azure DevOps. They're all project management, software development, project management tools. Okay, so I'll just do a walkthrough, show you a bit around Jira. I think most of you may have downloaded it. Well, it's a web application, so you can just go to the site, atlassian.com/software/Jira. You could just Google it. I'm sure that'll be the first thing that would come up. So maybe I will just go ahead, share my screen, and then I would walk you through the whole process, how to create a project, also how to create epics, how to create stories, how to create tasks, also how to start a sprint. And if you have it already created, you can follow along. If not, if you have issues setting up, I could also help you with that. Okay. I see a few questions. Please walk us through how to download. Okay. All right. So I'll walk you through how to not download, just how to create your account and how to get set up. Okay. So let me turn my camera off and then I'll share my screen now. Okay. Any questions so far before I start? Okay. I guess not. All right. Give me a minute. I have only one screen, so. Okay. All right. How do I turn this off? Okay. I had set this up already, but then let's go to Atlassian. Let me just do a quick Google. I hope you guys can see my screen. I just need a confirmation. Okay. Because now that I'm sharing, I don't see anything else. I wish I should. Okay. All right. You guys can come in from here. Let me put it download. Sorry, Jira. Okay. So this is where you start from, right? Jira software, get it free. I already have an account, but let me click and see if I can get it free. Sorry. Okay. So this is it. This is the link. Maybe let me copy this and put it in the chat so everyone can have this. Okay. So I just dropped it in the chat. I hope everybody has it. So how you start, you click on Get Free. And then you select if you want Confluence. Confluence, it's like a wiki that goes along with Jira. You could select that. Most times, organizations use them together. You see there's no credit card required to set up your account. And basically, this account can support up to 10 users. So if you want to, try your hands on how to use Jira, you could form groups, add other individuals, and you could be up to 10 on Jira. And you can assign tasks or stories or whatever, okay? So to sign up, you will then put your email and then your site. You could just make up anything, right? You could say Black Force or whatever, and you say yes. Oh, is there somebody that wants to share their screen? So I will just walk you through it since I already have an account. Anybody wants to volunteer to share their screen? Nobody is courageous enough.
I can share my screen.
Awesome.
Just give me a second to enable this. 1 second. Well, I think you should be able to.
Okay.
Yes, let me see.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's better this way so everyone else, sees how you set your account up.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I see it. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, I see it. So you have your email, you have your site, you have clicked yes, click on agree. Okay. You could skip this You could choose your role here as a business analyst if you want. Pick a few. Basically, by picking this, it will recommend maybe a template for you. So just say next. Okay. Then you're going to just go down a bit. Well, I think it's still setting you up. So
yeah, it's still setting.
Give it a few minutes. Okay, so now I'm in Jira. Say you're new to Jira. I'm setting up for my software teams. Yeah, my team is new to Jira. We spend our time working, put features. Okay, we have a tight schedule to finish our work. Okay, and then next. Okay, so here you could put a name of a project. Let's put your class has a number like Black Force. I see 4B3.
That's my group's name.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Okay. Actually, I don't know why that's not in caps. B3. Okay.
Okay. Then, so already it's showing you is recommending a Scrum template. So go ahead and click create.
Do we want to do anything here?
No, for here, skip. You don't need, these are all like plugins. Okay, so if you want to invite any of your team members, you could do this here. If not, you could skip.
Can we do this later?
Yeah, you could do this later.
Yes, we can do this later.
So done. Okay, and now you have your project created. Then this is your dashboard. So Did anybody have any trouble getting to this point? You could just click on explore myself so it doesn't do a tour. Yeah. Are we all at this same point, or is anybody lagging behind? Silence means everybody is good. Okay. All right. So thank you. Who was that? That was Olabisi. Okay. Thank you. So maybe I'll take it back and then I'll continue from there. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a different different interface
altogether. So you didn't land on that dashboard?
I landed, but the BC's own was different from mine.
Okay, let me share my own so we see if it's the same, right?
And also, if you have set up your profile before, how do you get to that stage?
Then that means you can log in. You just go back to that link I sent and then sign in. Right? It should bring you back to your dashboard.
No, he mean that if you already created before and you arrive at that stage, what do you have to do?
You arrive at this stage where I'm showing right now. I'm not sharing. Sorry, let me share. Am I sharing? Okay,
yes.
I am. Okay.
Like we don't have this your interface.
Can I share my own screens?
Share. Let's see. Maybe you answered your questions differently. And you set up differently. But if you land on this dashboard, you should be able to do everything that everyone else is doing.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to share my screen so that you can see where I am now. So I'm a little bit confused. Can you see my screen, please?
Yep, I see your screen.
Okay. Have I done it well? Did I do it well? Or I need to do something else?
Okay, yours looks different.
Yeah.
Looks totally different. Okay. Try clicking on create project. Let's see. Okay, I think you did your own setup differently. Close this. Can you go back? I think you had a dashboard there. Let's see your dashboard. Okay. Home. Try clicking on that menu with like the square, lots of squares, top left.
This one?
Yeah. Okay. Do the Jira software. Okay, so now go to the dashboard tab. Okay, now view all dashboard. Click on the default dashboard. Okay, I think your setup is totally different. Okay. I wonder what you did.
Sorry for cutting in. Ayokunle, we may need to thank you for bringing this up, because at the end of the day, we want everybody set up properly. Yeah. But just in the interest of time, we'll take it offline with Yashim. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I think we should do that.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. But if you follow all of the steps that was it Olabisi? Yes. Followed, then you should be fine. Okay.
So I noticed he's on .NET.
Problems on his plate to deal with.
All right. I think someone needs to mute.
Either to stay out of the war or eventually to have to get into it. And public opinion.
Can you please? Okay.
Okay. All right. So I think we've lost some time. So let's get into this, right? So basically everybody lands here and this is your dashboard. Okay. And now you want to create, you have a project. Most of the time in organizations, those projects will be set up already. So all of this setup, you won't have to be the one dealing with this, right? There might be an admin, but it's great, you start from the scratch so you understand, everything that is involved, right? But basically projects are usually, most of the projects I've been on, I come in and they're already set up, or I'll have some Jira admin that would set those projects up for us and we just start working, okay? So, but basically, Jira is a software project management tool, right? So it just manages all of your stories or your requirements and also decomposes all of the components that you're trying to build. So for this class, I'm going to use an example. So let's say we're building some kind of social media application that would have, say, a landing page where you could come in and you have to put in a username and a password, right? Before you get in, and then probably create your profile and all of that. So that's a hypothetical application that we're trying to build. So we have the project. We'll come here. You come to your projects tab. Now we want to create a project. Okay. You choose what kind of project it is. Let's choose a Scrum project, right? And then you click on use the template. You could always, depending on what kind of project it is, you could always change the project and templates to suit that particular project that you're working on. Sorry, I think I missed a step there. Okay. So now we're creating you click on use the Scrum templates. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'd created a project already. Sorry. So here I'd created a project. I titled it from the beginning, just like the way you would all have Black Force B4, right? That's your class name. So you should have your project. There will be the name of the project, and it's an active project. On the left-hand side, you will see a roadmap. You see a backlog. You see active sprints. You see reports. You see issues and components. So basically, the way Jira is structured, first you will have a project, and then under that project, you can create an epic. An epic is just like a collection of stories. So it's a big story that needs to be broken down into smaller stories, right? And after you create stories, for each story, you need to create a task for that story. So when you accomplish the task, you finish all of the tasks in a story, it means that story is completed. When you complete all of the stories in an epic, it means the epic is completed, okay? I'm going to walk you through all of this. I'm just kind of laying the foundation so you understand what I will be doing, right? So we're going to create an epic. We're also going to create a story. We're then going to create a task, and then we will see how those tasks go under a story and how stories are under an epic, okay? So basically you come to your backlog, and then here you can click on create. This is the name of our project. Issue type. So like I told you in Jira, there's epic. We also have stories, and then we have task. And you could also create a bug, right? So in this case, we want to create an epic. Like I told you at the beginning, we're building this social media application, something like a Facebook, where we could go in there, create profiles and get to meet people and share pictures and all of that, right? I'm not going to go deep into that, but just think of that as our project. So I would say we'll call it, say, Black Force B4, right? This is the name of our epic, okay? A summary. For this, we'll say we're probably creating the epic would be creating the onboarding process. So how to onboard new users to that application, right? So let's say create onboarding, say process, right? Okay. You could put different components. These components might be, all of the components involved in that application. Most of the time, this will be pre-populated. So you could choose if there are attachments, maybe some kind of design or some background of that project, you could add it there. I'll leave myself here as the reporter. And you could also assign this to someone. If I had more people on my team, I could always assign this to someone. Epics will also have some priority level. Is it high, low, medium, or lowest, right? Let's leave it as medium. So I go ahead and I create. Okay. So I've created an epic. Okay. All right. So now I've created an epic. Under that epic, we will need to create stories. Okay.
Sorry, Yashim, is it okay to interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead. If you have questions along the way, just let me know.
Yes, I just noticed that on my page, I don't have epic name. So that epic name is missing, then it goes to summary. Does this have to do with configuration as well? Or?
Yeah, probably it's with the configuration.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. I'll just go ahead with
okay.
What I can see.
Okay. All right. So here you come here and then you select your epic. Underneath this epic, I want to create stories, right? You could come here still and create a story under the epic, or you could just do it here. But let's do it here for simplicity, okay? So here we're creating a story. It's gonna ask for the epic, and we'll select the epic we just created. So this story goes under the epic, okay? So for this story, we would say we're creating a login page. Okay, probably the person that just spoke, probably you were trying to create a story and not an epic. Because for stories, you only see the summary, okay? So for this story, we're creating a login page. Let's just create. Okay. I told you we can create here using this button, or you could just create from here. So I'll click create from here. This is a new story in the backlog. And let's just say this story is forgotten password. Okay. All right. So we have two stories under this epic. Okay. So now maybe I'll just give you a little concept of a sprint. So usually in agile, our work in Agile is time boxed, right? You do work for a certain period of time, and at the end, you show what you have built, right? So it's an iterative kind of development. So you design, you build, you do everything, you test, and then you deliver some kind of increment at the end of the sprint. So a sprint usually would be maybe from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Mostly I've seen 2-week sprints. I know some places do 4-week sprints. So here we're trying to create a sprint so that we can pull this epic in and then start our work. So okay, I think I did that too quick, right? You click on the button, create sprint. Okay, I just created more than, let me delete this one. Confirm, okay. So I created one sprint, right? This is our sprint 1. Now I want to drag the stories that we just created into the sprint so that the team can start working on it. So let's say our sprint starts on a Monday and it's going to end on the, Friday. We'll choose 2 weeks for this sprint, for instance, okay? So I'm going to drag this story into the sprint. If anybody has questions, please ask, because I know maybe I was going a bit too quick.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice if you could just go over it again.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, no worries. Okay, so basically I created an epic, right? An epic, and then underneath that epic, I created 2 user stories, right? Underneath this user stories, I'm also going to create a task. I'm going to create tasks. When we create those tasks and we work on those tasks, complete those tasks, it means the story itself is completed. And then eventually when we complete all of the stories, it means that epic is also done. Okay, so that's just the structure. First, there's an epic. You decompose, break down that epic into smaller stories, user stories. And then when you have those user stories, you create tasks underneath those user stories. When you complete those tasks, the stories are completed. When you complete the stories, the epic is completed. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So basically after you create your stories, you create your epic, you create your stories, you can then start your sprint, right? I told you about the length of the sprint. Here, Jira already has it as 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or you could custom the length of your sprint. You want it to be 2.5 weeks. Well, I have not seen that before, but if you want to custom it, you could do it here. But usually most places I've been, the weeks are just 2 weeks. All right. So let's say, yeah, go ahead.
Quick one, please. I just want to get a pulse of the class. Mm-hmm. How many people have an interface that looks completely different from Yashim's interface? It sounds like there's more people whose UI look different and they're not able to follow. If that applies to you, can you just raise up your hand? You don't need to talk. Just signify by raising up your hand if what you see is different from what Yashim is showing.
Oh, quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot. So it will be a bit difficult for them. Yeah, and more hands are coming up.
Okay.
So, Yashim, what do you think? Is it possible you're using a different version from what most of them have?
No, if you go to that site I provided, that's the one you could get for free and start testing. Probably it's just the way they created theirs. Maybe they didn't answer some of the questions the way we did. So, and then also when you're downloading, right, you're downloading Jira for software development, right, for software projects, because Jira can be used for other projects too. So maybe when they were setting up, they chose, multiple other kinds of projects, and that's why they're having the issues they are having.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. So let's throw it open to the class.
Mm-hmm.
Biola, I think Biola, I think what happened was because some people, like we had tutorials on Friday, I believe, and the person that took the tutorials asked us to follow, like the person gave us the one that asked me answer. She said we should use experience and all that. So I believe that must have been what happened. Maybe that's why most people are having different interface if they followed the instructions that she gave us on that Friday.
Okay.
Because she wanted us to open it in that way so that we could follow her and have the same interface with her. So I don't know. Maybe that's what.
Okay.
Sorry, Abiola. She used Kanban and Yashin is using Scrum.
Okay, she used Kanban.
She used Kanban. Yeah, Benita used Kanban, and many people use Kanban to set it up. So if you could take that again, I don't know if that's possible.
Okay.
To start, to set it up as Scrum.
Okay.
And, a lot of people use Kanban because
she used Kanban. Okay, that's probably why. But then it shouldn't even be too different. Even with Kanban, you'd have epics, you'll have stories and tasks. But you know what? Let me breeze through this in 5 minutes, then we'll go back and set it up, right? Since there's also I think it's a handful of people that don't have this profile. So I want to make sure, we kind of appeal to both groups. I will walk through this and then I'll go back and change it to Kanban and then also do the same.
Yashim, if you don't mind me, and I'm so sorry to be cutting in here, we want to focus on Scrum.
Okay, you want to, okay.
We want to, because we know that on the job, most people are going to be working in the Scrum environment.
Yes.
So my recommendation, and it's just a recommendation, this is your thing. My recommendation is that you show us again how to set it up using Scrum.
Okay. So, all right, no worries. So when I was setting up, I chose Scrum, but let me start this project, okay? And then I think when I came here to create, that probably would have to be in my settings, I guess. But it will have to be from this. Okay, let me see. Usually once I just set it up, I'm good and I continue from there. Let me go back here. Okay. Let's see if we can start a new project. Okay, so she probably chose Kanban. Probably that's why we're having the issues we're having, right?
Yeah, and Shola posted a question for you in the chat.
Okay. Should we all just set up new accounts and follow Yashim? That will be, I think that would be better. Do we want to get one of those people that have the Kanban layout to share their screen, and then I'll walk you through setting it up, just the way we did with Olabisi? Who wants to volunteer?
Sorry to add, I think in addition to the Kanban, she also selected experienced. I think when you started yours,
I chose experience.
You chose experience.
Yeah. Okay. I know Olabisi chose not experience, but I chose experience.
Okay,
and I have this setup. This setup is cleaner, right, and easy to understand. What you guys showed me was a bit, I think hard to understand. This is very easy. at this point, and this is how it is in most organizations, this is the setup. The board is usually, to do, in progress, and done. Basically, at this point, I've actually walked you through everything. I created an epic. I created a story. The only thing I didn't create was a subtask. So that's a task under a story, right? And it's something we could do in a minute. But I think maybe we should set it up. Let's set it up for people who don't have it so that we all follow, right? And nobody's left behind.
I volunteer Ayokunle.
Okay. So Ayokunle, share your screen and then I'll walk you through the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was, okay, let me just show you. Mine was a little bit different. And this is what I have. And like you said, maybe in the first stage, I didn't do it well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have another email you could use to set this up?
Yes, please.
Okay, so just click on the link that I sent in the chat. Okay. So click Confluence, next. So everyone else that has their hands up, just follow. Okay, I think you're logging in. You're not creating from scratch. So maybe go back a bit. Let's see.
Okay, now.
One step back.
Oh, okay. Or should I close this and launch the one you put in the chat?
Can you change the email there? Is this the email you use for the other account?
Yes, please.
Okay. So sign in with okay, no, this is signing in. You need to create it from scratch. Yeah.
Okay, so let me close.
I think because you have a session. Yeah, you have a session running, so it's just picking from there.
Okay, so I'm trying to
sign out. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, just log out from here.
Okay.
Okay, I see someone in the chat saying, what should we...
Like create an account, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so go ahead, put in your account. Sign up. Okay, so you will have to go to your email if you have it on your phone, so we don't see the content of your email. You can go to your phone and you would see a mail there and just accept it.
Okay. 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 I've accepted it. How will I switch back to the?
Yeah, just
create a password.
Refresh. Let's see.
Okay. Because on my phone, it's telling me to enter my full name and create a password.
Okay, go ahead, put your name, password, and then we'll come in here and you're gonna log in. Okay. Because your account would have been created.
Okay. Oh no. when I try to do that, it's telling me Ayokunle Ojo, like the new email doesn't have access to Jira on Konzu, blah blah. Log into another account. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so is there any way you can close this out? This page you have on.
This page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Let me stop sharing first.
Okay. So it's not like it's telling you already have an account, right?
Yeah, it's telling me I have. Okay, now you know what I've done is I've gone back to the. Let me share my screen again. Back to the one you pasted. So I'm trying to. So let me. Maybe we can start all over again.
Yeah, try again. Let's see.
Now, now this is still coming up.
Okay.
Should I log out?
Yeah, log out of that.
Yashim, while we're doing that, I just got a message. Someone who had the same issue was able to resolve it.
Okay.
And he's willing to share his screen to show.
Okay. Okay, maybe we should, do that because, we
Thank you.
Have a lot of time. Okay.
Okay, I'm telling them to go ahead and share now. Maiwa, go ahead and share your screen, please.
Right. So I don't know if you guys can see my screen now.
We can't. We can.
See it now.
So I had this similar issue before. Let me just go back.
Okay.
So when you get past this page, right, then it brings you here. Then I clicked on recommended. Then I went to software development.
Mm-hmm.
Then it gave me the option for Kanban, Scrum, and bug.
Mm-hmm. So
I clicked on Scrum.
Yeah.
And you can see epic, story, bug, task, and all that.
And then
so I guess use template, right?
Yeah.
And so this way it's showing me now.
Okay.
So can everybody try to follow these steps to see if you get to the point where you see Scrum?
I guess this step is way ahead. I mean, we were trying.
It's way ahead. Yes, it's way ahead.
Past, I got this right. It was just that some features showing up on Yashim's page, we were not seeing it. So I was thinking what we wanted to do is to go from the beginning and pick everything that you have.
Yeah, I think you changed the template, but you didn't get back. Let's see your dashboard now, whether your dashboard will be the same as mine.
Are you referring to me or the other gentleman?
To Mayowa, right? You're the one.
Yeah. So I need to click on, what do I click on now?
So click on back to project templates. Let's see. Okay. Wow. This is looking totally different.
Can I say something? So I think he needs to click on use templates, and then on that next page, he clicks on manage by team. Select the team manage project.
Manage by company.
And then you put your project name, and then you click on Scrum again, and then
exactly. Okay. Yeah. See, you got it. Yeah. So we actually we're almost there, but we just stopped on the way.
And sorry, because based on my first one, I was able to click on, before you told me to click on dashboard. So I click on project.
Ta-da, yeah, you're there
that
now.
Project, I was able
to
there now.
So yeah. So that means we have a way to get to where I am. Did we all get the steps? Well, that was too fast.
Yeah, Yashin, permit me to jump in here again. So I didn't quite catch the name of the person who spoke and said they weren't quite at this point yet. So obviously the problem is still there. If you would not mind, Yashin, let's start from scratch again. I don't know if you have a different email address.
Okay,
let's just start from the beginning and hopefully people can follow.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I say something, Abiola? So if they were at this Kanban stage, if they were really at that stage where you picked, where they said that we did from tutorial, if you click on projects, like on this screen right now, on the former screen that you have, if you click on projects and you click on create projects, it allows you to pick Scrum and you don't even need to use a different email address. I just did it now while in class.
It's the same
like
thing.
You don't need to use a different email address. You can use the same account and you will see this view. So if you click on this project on your screen that you have now, it allows you to create a new project and then you can click on Scrum and it just takes you to that middle point and then you just complete the step.
Okay, so let's take someone.
I just got mine too.
Okay.
Oh, you did fantastic.
Okay, awesome. I wanted us to take one person through that was still at that stage where your interface is looking different, and then we'll do the whole process we just did with Maiwa. And so everybody's aligned. Who is sharing now? Who is sharing?
So I already created it, but I can share my screen just to walk everybody through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go back to the point where everybody is?
Yeah, I'm about to.
Yeah.
No, but this is not my screen.
Yeah. Okay. This is not your screen? Who is sharing then?
I can just bounce the person.
I think Kunle needs to stop sharing.
Okay. Ayokunle, can you stop sharing? I think he's actually almost there too. So
this is the former screen that everybody has. This is the one that has. This is the one that has that screen, that the one we did at tutorial, right?
Like myself, I'm yet to get to this stage. I'm yet to get to this.
Yeah. She wants to take us back to where everybody is, and then she'll walk us through to this point, right?
But I think he's saying he's not even here at all.
Oh, he's not here.
Yes.
So that means you didn't start at all.
I didn't go for that tutorial. That was why I was sharing my screen. So that
okay, go ahead. You share, Yokunle. You were on track. You were exactly where Maiwa was. So share. I think I remember the steps that he took. Okay. So click on use template.
Okay.
And then now you select team manage project. Right, then you put the name of the project. Okay, then create project. So, yep, so you're there. Okay.
Thank you.
Did everybody catch that? Is anybody left behind? Okay, so silence means everybody is good now, right? Okay. Abiola, time check. How many more minutes do we have?
We still have time. We just want to keep engaging. There's still about 34 minutes left in class. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it was a good exercise, but like I told you guys, the setup and all usually will be done already. There'll be an admin or someone that sets the project up, right? And you just need to come in and they'll add you to the team, and then you become, a member of the team. So if I had added people when I was setting up, you'll see the names here, and I can assign stories or tasks to them. So when you join a new team, they would add you to a particular project and your name will be there. So when they're creating stories or epics or tasks, you will be able to actually assign tasks to yourself. Okay. All right. So do we want to let's create another epic, right? Because I think we missed. So I'm just going to create a quick epic, right? So, but I'll come back to the one that I created earlier. So we just continue from there. So we're creating an epic. Let me cancel this. You could create from here, right? You come here, click on create, and then you, based on the drop down here and whatever you want to create, you choose. In this case, we're creating an epic. An epic is a big story, that could be broken down into smaller stories, right? Just to keep it simple, right? So we're creating an epic. Let's say I just want to give it a random name. Black Wars 2022, right? So this is just me trying to show you the process, right? Probably maybe you missed it. So we're not going to use this epic for anything, but I'm just creating it to show you how to create an epic and how to create stories under that epic, okay? So this epic is also created for this particular project that I had created. So now I'm creating the epic, okay? All right. So when I created it, I just, did someone say something? Okay. So now I want to create story. Yeah.
Hi, I'm sorry. I have a quick question.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. When you created the epic, and how did you get the epic name? Because I don't have that on my screen. Maybe
okay, when you create it, in just a flash, you will see the epic title. It will just flash, right? But even if you don't see it, when you go to create stories, you could then also link that story to the epic. So it will give you a drop down and you can pick, you'll see the title of that epic that you created. And I think you should be able to see it here too. Sorry. Can you see this tab here?
No, I'm talking about when you were creating it. So where it says summary and stuff like that, mine doesn't have like epic name like yours did, where you were able to type in a name for the epic.
Oh, okay. Are you sure you also have, do you have a Scrum? Are you using a Scrum template or a Kanban template?
A Scrum. I switched over, like I watched it.
Okay, so when you
experience the same thing as well.
Let's do this. Create.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see epic name.
No.
You only see a summary.
Yes. And then this.
Did you pick the epic the issue type?
So if you pick a story, you're only going to see summary, right? If you pick a task, you're only going to see summary. But if you pick an epic, you should see the epic name and a summary.
Yes, I did.
And there was no name.
Mm-hmm.
It was just summary that was showing up.
Yes, for mine too. I'm using Scrum, but I picked the issue type for Epic, but it's just showing the summary.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. When you create the epic with the summary, do you end up seeing it here? Do you end up seeing your epic here? Have you tried to create, just populate the summary and go ahead and create the epic and see if it shows up here? Did anybody try?
I think for me, it's a totally different interface. I'm seeing something different.
In here, it's not showing that. I put a name in the summary, and it's not looking like this.
Oh, okay.
Different interface.
Yeah, so probably maybe it was your setup. Probably when you were setting up, you probably didn't select the same, but you saw the setup was very seamless. Just ask you a bunch of questions and you pick Scrum, you should have the same template, right? Except maybe there are some changes you made in your settings.
Hi everyone. Could I say something? I've got the same interface as Yasim has, and I think why that is the page that says team managed and company managed. I went with the company option, so I think everybody's been going with the team option.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the difference, I guess.
When I populated a summary, I realized that it was actually showing about on the roadmap, but not on the backlog. Yes, I could have see it there under that portion, but not on the backlog.
So you're not seeing it because you have to start your sprint, right? When you create those stories and you'll see a button will be highlighted, start sprint. When you click on that start sprint and you come to active sprints, you will see the stories for that sprint, right? So first you have to create a sprint. After you create the sprint, you have to start that sprint. At the end of everything, you have to complete your sprint. So that means you've closed out the sprint, right? So those are just a few of the processes that, for you to see it show up in backlog. So this is our backlog. This is sprint 1, and this is the items that we have pulled in, right? You can take things into the sprint. You could take it out of the sprint, right? In this case, I'm moving them into the sprint. When you create the stories, when you create the sprint and you move the stories into the sprint, you will see a button here that tells you to start sprint. So for the person that asked that question, go create a sprint, right? You would see a button over here, create the sprint, move your stories into that sprint. So drag and drop, then start the sprint. Okay.
Yashim, hi.
Yeah.
It's Abiola here.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I was wondering, do we want to, one of the people who can't see like the Epic name field, should they share their screen and we take a look at it?
Sure. Okay, you know what? Let me
volunteer to share my screen, please.
Okay, in 2 minutes, let me create the sub task, right? Then when that person shares, we walk through the whole process with that person too, so everybody sees it. So let me just walk you through this, right? We created an epic, and then under that epic, we created 2. Let me go to the backlog so you understand the whole structure. We created an epic, okay? An epic is titled Black Force. Mm-hmm. So we have a body of work titled Black Force B4, right? It's so huge, but then so we're now decomposing it into tiny bits so that we can, manageable sizes that we can complete within an iteration, so within a sprint, right? So we created Forgotten Password. That's a body of work that we're going to take on and work on in that sprint. Another one we took in was login page. Okay. So that's the structure. We have a project. The project has an epic, and the epic, we broke it down into stories. And then we're going to further break down the stories into tasks. Okay. I want you to understand the essence of what we're doing, right? Your interfaces might be different or whatever, but understand what we're trying to do here. We have a project we're working on, and we're trying to break them down into tiny bits so that people can pick them up and start working on them to complete that whole body of work that we have, okay? And we put it into a sprint. Our sprint is going to be a 2 weeks sprint. So in the beginning of the 2 weeks, we decided we're going to work on these 2 items. The team will come together and say, for this Forgotten Password, I clicked on it now and it's opened. We will have comments, we'll have description. So let's say for this Forgotten Password, we would say the user should there's a format for user story, right? But I just, for simplicity, I'll just type maybe sentences, right? Yeah, so the user should be able to enter their, I can spell this night, their user name and password, okay? So how do we accomplish this story? We would create subtasks. So maybe there's I clicked on the subtask button. Here we can create multiple tasks under that story, right? So maybe let's say there's a Salesforce piece, for instance. I'm just going to say Salesforce. You create, let's say there's testing that needs to be done, right? You create, let's say the code will need to be deployed. Create, right? Now, if I close this, when you come back to the backlog, sorry, okay, it took some time to show up. So this is the story, and then these are the tasks that needs to be completed. When the team plans, they decide, okay, hey, Mayowa would be working on Salesforce. We can come in here and assign this task to Mayowa. Let's say I had him here. I would just say this is, right? I have assigned this to him. Just imagine that his name is there. Okay, and this particular task is assigned to Mayowa. Mayowa will pull it in, and he's gonna, I'm dragging and dropping in progress. He's gonna pull this and he's gonna start work on it, right? And we're gonna have all of the daily meetings. You know, he'll give us updates. Oh, this is where I am. I'm trying to set up I need some access or whatever. I'm working on this. Eventually, when he is done, he's going to drag it and drop it in done. And then it means his task is done. You see it's crossed out. Eventually, when all of this task, we assign this to Olabisi. She works on it and she finishes and she puts it in done, right? And next one, Ayokunle, in progress, done. Takes it here, it's done. It will ask me, update parent issue. So if I update it to done, it means that particular story is done. So I say update. You see that the story itself has been, there's a strike through, right? It's closed out. So this story is done. So the only story that is left in this sprint is the login page. We can go in there to create task. So this is the key. This is the link I click on to create multiple tasks to complete that particular story. So imagine you have that epic, and that epic has, say, 10 stories. When each of these stories are completed, it means that epic is also closed. You know, at that point, that project, you know, will be done. Depending on how many epics. If it's only one epic, when that epic is completed, it means the whole project is done. Okay. Right. So I just wanted you guys to understand the whole flow, right? First, there's a project, and for the project, you create epics. So epics are bigger sized stories. You then decompose that, break it down into smaller user stories, right? And the user stories will be small enough that you're able to complete it within a sprint, right? Usually there'll be, but I'm going to save you all of that details. You will size the stories and kind of the team will talk through what efforts or complexities or risk are involved in that story. And it will go through a whole process before they bring it in and then commit to start working on this, right? So eventually when these two stories are done, it means that epic is closed. You could go to the next epic and continue from there. Okay. All right. So just wanted to explain that. Did anybody have any questions before we share and see that company option that people picked to see if it's the same setup? Any questions so far?
There are a few questions in the chat, Yashin.
Okay. Let me open it up. Okay. Where do I start from now? Because there's so many here. Yeah, I'll start. Is the board for a BA to manage or Scrum Master? Okay, so basically the Scrum Master would facilitate the daily stand-ups, right? So the daily meetings, everybody will just kind of tell the whole team where they are on their task, maybe what they worked on the previous day, what they're going to work on the current day, and if they have any impediments or any blockers, right? But everybody is responsible for their task. Usually for all of the tasks that is assigned to you, say you're a BA and there's a task there that you might even create yourself, because in planning, you come together and say, hey, okay, we need to create a login page. And the developers will say, hey, okay, yeah, this is how we're going to do. We're going to, create it this way. This is how we're going to write our code. They'll go ahead and do their task. You as a BA, you create a task maybe you might be responsible for testing. It depends, maybe you do the smoke testing or the functionality testing. So you create a task for that on your board. And you're also going to assign some time. You're going to assign an estimate. You say, okay, hey, I'll be able to complete this task in 6 hours. So you will be responsible for managing your own task. When you spend 1 hour on that task, you will go to your task and say, hey, I've spent 1 hour. Now I have 5 hours left. So you'll be responsible for your task, but overall, the whole board, the Scrum Master usually is responsible for, say, starting the sprint and then closing the sprint, and then responsible for just, facilitating the meetings in the morning to make sure everyone is talking to each other, right? And then if you have any blockers, he's going to be there to try and remove them. But basically, you'll be responsible for your own task. Okay. I'm just going from the comments, the one I'm seeing at the bottom to the top. Okay, so guys, create a new project and choose company. You should be fine. Okay, can they share? It shows Epic. I'm good. If you create. Okay, I think that was the only question there, right? Should we?
There was one more question. Jaka was asking if you're using the free version right now.
Yes, I'm using the free version. Yeah, this is not my company's version, so this is free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bumi put a comment in the chat. Can everybody who has a different UI user interface right now look at what Bumi wrote in there and try to do the steps that she typed in there, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, let us know. Our hope is that we'll be able to resolve any issue anybody has this evening.
Yeah, I think we should. Someone was volunteering to share, right? Let's try that with that person and see if we can.
Yeah, that was me.
You figured it out?
Yeah, so this
Okay.
is Shola. I saw the message the other Shola put up there. That's for us to use the company managed instead of the team managed.
Okay.
It's just exactly what you have. So
okay,
maybe someone else might want to do if you're still having issue.
Okay, so
company managed.
Okay, so maybe the company managed is coming up with, but then when you changed it, you were able to go to Epic and you saw the
Epic name came up. Yeah,
okay.
So I guess the team managed does not have Epic name.
Okay, but the question I have for people that were not seeing the Epic name, when you create without the Epic name, do you still see the Epic, or it just does not show up?
Let me share my screen to show you how
ahead.
it came up with.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to be kind of left behind, because this is, just nice and easy. You should be able to get it.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So if I do, let me do new one, create project, Scrum, use template. So if I do team manage project, for this, maybe CRM, create project. So with this, what were we trying to do again? Create.
Yeah, create Epic.
So if I go to Epic here, you don't see the Epic name.
Okay. But go ahead and create an Epic.
Okay, so
you did not go to backlog on the.
Yeah, let him create an Epic. Let's see if that Epic shows up.
Issues. Call it that. And create, right?
Okay.
So click on the view.
Yeah, let's view it.
So it came up like this.
Okay.
Get out of here.
So even with this, you have an Epic created, right? So let's just walk through the process of creating a sprint, right?
Right here on the
you can
close out here.
Close this. Yeah. Let's go to the backlog now. Okay.
So this is how it's coming out.
All right. So now I want you to create a story. Just go to create top.
Here?
Yeah. So now create a story. Just when you create a story, scroll down a bit, you'll see there's going to be a field for Epic.
Nothing.
Okay, there isn't. Okay, so then that's.
You should check linked issues.
Yeah, let's see, label, sprint.
Linked issues.
Okay, this is linked issues. Is if you're trying to, put relate.
It has not created the Epic properly. Yeah. That's why it's not showing.
Yeah. The Epic is not.
The company manager does the best.
Where you have the story, change it to Epic. Go up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, change it. Okay, now put the Epic. Let's see what happens. Oh, same thing.
Yeah.
It's still the same thing. So the company just give you, so I don't know why it's like
yes.
that.
I think for that company, the whole setup is different. And I'm sure there's a lot of configuration that needs to go into it. But that team manage is straightforward. You create the epics. And when you create a story, you would see a field where you can now link or create the story under that particular epic. And it's straightforward that way, right? So now, did you choose the team?
So this is now the company managed.
Oh, this is the company managed. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see.
So with the create here?
Yeah, create.
So Epic.
Epic. Okay, now you have the Epic name.
Sorry, is this okay?
Yeah. Okay, you can create. Just go ahead and create. Yep. Okay. So now you've created you're on issues. Just go back to backlog. Okay. So now in backlog, we want to create a sprint. So just create the stories first under that epic. And then we'll create a sprint and then move our stories into, so go create. So now you're creating a story.
Can I still leave it here? Okay.
Just for, so now you're going to look for the field that says, so epic link. Now you're going to we're gonna, which epic did you just create that? But go ahead and then create. And let's create one more story, just so if anybody missed the first one, they would see it. Yeah, this is the best class. And then, link it to the same epic. Okay. So now what we're going to do is to create a sprint. There's a create sprint, it's grayed out, close to the quick start, just above the quick start. No, just go down, bottom right, exactly.
Okay.
Create sprint. Click on the create sprint,
Did I click on it?
You've created it already.
Okay.
Created it already. So now you're going to drag your stories and drop them in. So maybe you should scroll.
Drop it here?
You can drop it there. Drag the next one and drop it there. Cool. So now we have created a sprint. If you click on the start sprint, so go to okay. Yeah, you can cancel it first. Go to active sprint, on your left. Yep. You see there's nothing showing because you have not started your sprint.
Right.
Go to your backlog and now start the sprint. Okay, so now we'll leave it at 2 weeks. Usually there'll be a sprint goal. Hey, this sprint we're gonna build our CRM, whatever, or we're gonna just build a login page. So start. You could put a goal there, but just leave it and start if you want.
Oops.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. It's always hard.
She's still not perfect. I just leave
it. Okay, start. So now this is our active sprint. This is the sprint. We started this sprint today. Today is the 14th, right? And you can see the 2 stories in there. And those 2 stories are under one epic, right? So now we want to create tasks for each of those stories. So click on the story itself. And then there's create subtask. And now you can create your task. You can create maybe 3. Just anything. Just say anything. Just type anything, yeah. Start the work, check the work, finish the work.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. I'm trying to create a new one because I currently have the team one. So I want to use the company's one. However, it's requesting not requesting, it's actually asking if I'm new or experienced. Do I skip that or just click on new?
You can choose experience.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Yasim, hi. I have a question.
Okay.
On your screen, where you create, when you click create, right?
Yeah.
Can you on the top where you have the 3 dots? Mm-hmm. Can you click on it to show us what the items you have? Because for those of us who can't see epic name, when I check the entire thing, that option is not there. So it's where it will tell you to show fields. The only fields available to us are stuff like summary, assignee, sprint, reporter, length issues, description. So can you show us if it's the same with your page?
Okay. Did you choose the teamed managed?
Yeah, that's option? What you chose when you started, correct?
Yeah, that's what I chose when I started setting up mine. And I don't know why yours is different. But okay,
Sorry, can I just quickly jump in? Joker, you need to change to company change. I know that's what Yashin used, but for some reason it's not working for a lot of people. And for the people who have changed to company, from team to company, they now have the same screen with Yashin. So can you try that?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just finish creating this task. Just do the full circle, right? Finish work. Okay. So you can this subtask, will be taken up by members of the team. Okay. So now you can close this. You can just close it with that X. It will take a few. Okay, it's there already. So you see that one story, those are the tasks you can drag and drop. It's in progress. I started the work, the next person has, finished his checking the work. So this task will be assigned to, people on the team can volunteer and take up some of this task and do it themselves, or, in planning, you'll decide, okay, hey, who will do what? Basically, this is it. When the sprint is completed, all of the stories are done. You will go to the complete sprint and you will end your sprint. Okay?
I'm not following this class at all.
You're not following it, Joker?
Yeah, I was completely struggling with me. Sorry, I'm not following the class at all. So that's why I missed where you even changed it to company. So, boy, it's okay. I'll watch the video tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Was there anyone else that was in the same shoes as
Maybe
Joker?
I should go over changing to company again.
Yeah, let's do that again. So people who didn't catch it will catch it.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's, sometimes it happens, right? But do you understand the essence of sometimes also trying to follow, right?
Yes.
Basically, forget technology now. This could be done on a spreadsheet. You have a body of work and you're trying to split it into more manageable sizes, right?
Yes.
And you need to also have some kind of traceability to say this particular task is related to this story. When I complete this story, it means I'm completing this bigger body of work.
Yes.
Right? So you have all of these components and you're finishing them up so that you complete a bigger project. Right? So so basically that's it. You could do that before Jira and so many other tools. People used to do, I worked somewhere where we used spreadsheets. We just use spreadsheets. We'll put the stories, we'll put the epics, and we'll start working. We'll also do test cases and you do all of those traceability matrix. Try to make sure that, for every item that you created, there's a test for it and stuff like that. But all of these tools are just making it easier for you to manage your work, right? So I want you to, even if you don't understand anything today, just understand that this is a tool that helps you to manage your work. And this is what is being used in many places that you would eventually get to work, right? And you'll be expected, just even seeing this, you already have the knowledge, that, hey, there's a sprint, there are epics, there are stories, there are tasks that will be assigned to me, and there's a way I should move my task, and there's a way I should manage my work, okay? All right, so let's show that changing it to the company-based option.
So I've started from projects to create
projects. Yeah.
And then Scrum.
I'm suggesting maybe Joker should share our screen so we can see.
Okay.
No. It's fine. I was able to create the story, the epic, the story, the task, and move it like he did, move it around.
Okay.
And done complete. I followed the steps, but I'm just like, when I want to start again and follow as, I don't know, someone who is sharing his or her screen right now, I then wasn't seeing the same thing again. So I was wondering, where did I get lost?
Give yourself some credit. You did everything. You created the epic, the story, the task. That's all. When you're in a real, job scenario, You're not going to go to all of those setups. You still go there, you go to a board and you'll see a story created already, and you'll be working with your team. A task will be created. You assign one to yourself or one will be assigned to you.
Okay.
Walk through it. And you don't have to go back every day to set up your Jira. So don't stress.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You created an epic, you created a story, you created a task, you moved it along, you closed it.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, you're good.
Oh, I followed your instructions, so you're good. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Was there anyone else that was lost?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
When you're creating this, when we are trying to create the sprints, I remembered that there was a sprint 1 and a sprint 2.
Yeah.
When I put it into sprint 1, I wasn't able to create to start the sprint. But when I put it to sprint 2, I started the sprint. What's the difference between those two?
Okay, it depends. When you created sprint 1, what dates did you see there? If you create sprint 1, it's going to show you today's date, and then the end date will be like 2 weeks from today. So if you created sprint 2 and sprint 2's date is today, so that means check the dates. It goes with your dates. Yeah. So you can't create a sprint with a past date or a future date and expect it to work, right?
Okay.
So look at the dates. Yeah, just go and check the sprint and see what date you're seeing there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You see, like this one, what he's sharing is showing us that we have 9 days remaining on that sprint. So it's showing us, it means we started today and we have 9 days to complete the sprint. So yeah, just look at your dates. You should be fine. Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. So you see, just hover over. It shows you the start date is 14th and the project is going to end on the 28th. Right? Okay. Was there any other questions? You guys can just play around with it, right? I would suggest you add people to your group, assign tasks to one another, move them along. You could also put comments. So if you open one of the stories, as you're refining the stories, you could, can you click on one of those stories? Just open it. Yeah. There will be comments, places to add comments. If you have added people to your group, you can mention people there and they'll get an email. If you have added people to, you can assign work to people. So you see that assignee, you assign someone, the person will get an email to say, hey, this task has been assigned to you. And you could also follow a task. If there's a task someone is working on and you're interested in that task, you want to see how it's completed or how it's going, you could follow and see. So there's so many other functionalities that are here. You will need to just play around with it and you'll get a hang of it, okay?
Yashim, excellent. Thank you so much for your time today. I know that for anybody who's feeling a bit lost, it's okay. I mean, you're just beginning to interface with Jira. Nobody's expecting you to learn everything day one. And just like Yashim said, a lot of what he showed you today is to be able to help you view the full cycle. We talked about the requirement life cycle, right? Many of this you're not even going to do. As a matter of fact, it's not even typically your job to assign stories to people. As the BA who has written the requirements in a Word document, yes, you go in and you put the user stories in Jira. But the assignment, remember, if you have a Scrum Master, and when you're having the Scrum, the developers are going to basically estimate how much work they can do in that sprint. They'll pick the stories that they'll be working on next, right? So it's not like you're going to get hired and they make you the Jira admin. No.
Yeah.
But what we're just trying to say here is we don't want you getting on the job and looking at Jira and you're like, are they speaking Spanish? At least it needs to be familiar, right?
Yes.
But that's not to say you're going to be the one managing it and performing all the magic. Absolutely not. Having said that, you've downloaded it, play with it, get comfortable with it. Tomorrow we're going to look at Visio, right? Get comfortable with the tool. That's the goal here. As a BA, you're going to use Jira a whole lot more, and we'll have that conversation tomorrow, but don't feel overwhelmed. I'm glad we could play in it. You could ask your questions, right? And if many people come back and they still have a lot of questions, we can bring Yashin back. If you're trying to figure it out and it's so complicated and all of that, right? We can bring Yashin back for another 1 hour. So don't sweat it. Don't stress over it. And Joke, I guess Ayokule was right. Your mic gave you up. I don't know if you're trying to share with the class.
She was thinking aloud.
But anyway, we're past time. Thank you everyone for your time. Yashin, big thanks to you. We really appreciate you coming to, show us your Jira skills here. And, if we need to bring you back, if people have questions and all. Have a good evening, everybody. Looking forward to connecting with you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at Visio.
All right.
Thank you, Yashin. Thank you, Abiola.
Thank you, Abiola.
Thank you, Abiola. Bye.